John is a low SES background student with a renowned reputation for being a disruptive troublemaker. Before I'd even met him, he was the direct target of a staff-wide conscionable bias which would become John's deficit discourse. I would become better acquainted with John, seeing him a couple of days every week, with him being compassionate and caring, but at other times bored, moving around and hard to focus on tasks, which would especially occur during afternoon math lessons. Some of those same teachers who had spoken out before had reiterated that John can't seem to apply himself. It's like pulling teeth to get him to work in that class. This rhetoric of consistent deficit discourse had developed into a stigmatization of John, who would be destined to continually reproduce the same behaviours in a means of social reproduction. I would soon find out that John had a fear of seeming vulnerable in the classroom, especially when faced with difficult tasks in math. John has passions relating heavily to his friends, being a leader of the cool clique, the super laissez-faire response to authority or learning, and is a very athletic sports person. His demeanour exudes confidence in his ability to remain cool and have things in his control. This confident persona is what keeps John so avoidant of the math class experience. The self-doubt that is created causes John to purposely avoid the scenario and any sense of vulnerability. Unpacking his virtual school bag, an analogy purposed by Thompson in 2003, we can investigate John's rich connection to community, friendship, and Indigenous culture. John is active in participation in school yarning circles, teaching his friends a didgeridoo or talking NRL, but is targeted throughout the school with consistent deficit discourse in regards to his class behaviour and cognitive ability. John shows he has incredible spatial, emotional, and conversational intelligence, and needs support in interpreting these into scenarios where he can develop meaningful, concrete scenarios of numeracy. Currently, the broader school environment is approaching John as if he is the problem, taking a top-down approach of investigation, looking at the school community and seeing John as not fit. However, the school would be best suited to undertake an educational triage perspective, investigating John's ability and learning through a strengths-based system of instruction. The approach to overcome would be to engage a community-minded outcome for John, to have some mentorship, to develop a sense that vulnerability for making mistakes is not something to fear, but embrace, as learning is constant, not a fixed point. Encouraging inquiry or service-based learning to encourage that assistance is making math a real-world exercise with real outcomes. These strategies form an example of turnaround pedagogy, individualized encouragement, scaffolding, and strength-based approaches to support learners. Given this approach, we can develop a desired pathway for future classroom environment developments. The goal for John and students who face similar deficit discourse is the opportunity to have differentiated learning without the biases, but with compassion and pedagogical strategies that support rather than hinder. Implementing and designing meaningful and connected learning, linking with the world students unpack from their virtual school bags alongside their education. This turnaround pedagogy is what educators need to strive for when approaching the classroom with a sociological perspective.